The Keystone Pipeline continues to be controversial. We have a deadline coming up in March with the State Department on getting an approval for the pipeline. President Obama last year said he was all for this pipeline during the campaign, but lately he's been talking a clean game. So the question is he now backed into a corner with the State Department approving this pipeline?
Yeah, he's definitely been speaking. In the election, he did a lot of dodging the Keystone issue. He famously went to Cushing, made a major speech in front of the pipes in Cushing, greenlighting the southern half of the Keystone Pipeline and sending the northern half back to the states. And he got the approval for the northern half from the Nebraskan governor in January. So that would indicate that he was, in fact, going to allow the State Department to say yes to this. Unfortunately, there's been, because of environmental things, because of Sandy, because of Nemo, and maybe because of the meteorite, it's like the Earth is fighting us at this point. There's a feeling that these are really important. They're gaining strength, these issues. There's real pushback. And if the president is going to, put meat on the bone of what has been a speech at the State of the Union and in his inauguration about climate change, then organizations like 350.org, which had their 40,000 plus rally over the president's weekend in the Sierra Club, are going to hold the president's feet to the fire and say, look, here is your line in the sand. Keystone is one of those issues that can really make a statement about doing something about climate change instead of just talking about climate change. So this has become a flashpoint issue and it's not going away.
Right, we have had a lot of protests against the pipeline. So here's the deal. We get to March, and as you've said, he's got a lot of people pushing him to also approve this deal. So I would think
more, in fact, pushing him to approve this pipeline. It's clear politically he doesn't even have support from the Democrats to say no to this pipeline at this point. Politically, it's a hot potato. It is about jobs. It is about independence. It's about getting your sources from those that are nice to you as opposed to the
Canada.
Mideast. Canada, which is, it's about not stepping on your neighbor in terms of their responsibilities. They want to produce this oil, and the United States is the ready path for them to produce that. So there's a lot of political issues that are very difficult for the Obama administration to say no on Keystone, except for the fact that he's had a lot of rhetoric that's now he needs to, either put up or shut up, and that's what's going on.
So it seems the best way to save face is to approve it in March, but then do something else equally big and green at the same time to satisfy those people.
That may be a point. That may be what's going on here. What I think is the actionable thing that you can look at right now is to say that maybe 3 months ago it was fairly obvious that the president was going to allow the State Department to approve Keystone. Now it's not so obvious. So what we might see is more of a rally in some domestic crude oil, despite the fact that we are at the brim, not only in Cushing, but on the Gulf Coast for oil. That may be the major takeaway. For right now, there may be a floor underneath at least domestic crude if you are thinking, for example, that Keystone now has a possibility of actually being not approved by the State Department. Yeah, where it didn't have that kind of option before.
All right, so is the oil market reacting as if we might get a denial?
Not yet. In fact, we've had a kickback on the spread. The way that I judge this is it's a little wonky, the Brent WTI spread. But in fact, I think that there's a moment here where you can sell that spread. But there are other stocks that you can look at that may have an impact. For example, Exxon is just about to go forward with their big Kearl Sands project, which is in the Athabasca. If Keystone is not approved, that's a big hurt for Exxon because that's their major project coming up. So that's a stock to look at too.
All right, so keep that in mind. If you start to see some movement in the crude oil as we get close to this March deadline, that's what's happening. The Keystone will be affecting the oil prices if we're not sure what's going to happen in March with the State Department.